Recently took a cross-country trip on Amtrak, riding the Empire Builder and then the Lakeshore Limited. Okay, bye guys! Yep, Amtrak. 3 days to Boston. Here we go. So yeah, I'm taking Amtrak from Spokane, Washington to Boston, Massachusetts. It's a 3-day journey. I'm going to be leaving at 1 a.m. on Saturday morning and arriving on Monday at 8 p.m. Crossing our fingers. This train trip is going to take 3 days because we have no high-speed rail, because America has done no investment in that infrastructure in 100 years. Why? Because we were sold the idea of driving everywhere, single occupant cars, and that meant freedom. The train has been running, leaving at 1 a.m. from Spokane for I think since the 1980s, 40 years. Waiting till 1 a.m. was difficult, but really patience is a big part of riding Amtrak. When I got on the train, most of the passengers were asleep. The next morning we woke up on the Idaho-Montana border. That's what the bathroom looks like in coach. It's not exactly huge, but there's running water and toilet. Nice mirror. Every once in a while they let everybody off the train for a little stretch and fresh air. The scenery through western Montana was quite spectacular. Montana Lakeshore National Park-ish. It's been a while since I've seen one of those. They used to have those going to the airport, I remember when I was a kid. Things got pretty flat, but it was still interesting to look at. Shelby, Montana. A few years ago, Amtrak closed the dining car to coach passengers. There's a cafe open, but I opted to make my own food. Unfortunately, for simplicity's sake, I just ate the same thing again and again. I was lucky enough to score 2 seats for most of the trip. And it was a long trip, made even longer by a few delays, like here in Minot, North Dakota. Well, the crew for the next train was 5 hours late, so we're going to be leaving 5 hours later than expected. Instead of a 5-minute layover in Minot, Dakota, we're having a 5-hour layover. We'll be leaving at 1 in the morning rather than 9:30. So it's time to take a walk and see Minot, South Dakota. It's North Dakota. And pray that my next train is held up for this one, because I only had a 4.5-hour layover in Chicago. What's particularly funny is they had to have known this hours and hours ago, but of course they just told us 2 seconds ago. That's, I guess, just to keep us all from asking annoying questions. And here we have a lovely downtown that's been turned into parking lots. Well, the little downtown street's pretty cute. You know, everything's closed at 9:30 on a Saturday, but it's pretty cute. Pretty fancy high school. Now it's getting very windy and stormy because there's a thunderstorm approaching. go back to the train quickly. It's pretty windy. There's like a bit of a dust storm preceding the thunderstorm. I don't know if it'll actually turn into rain or not, but just there's a lot of wind. I'm guessing it will rain. Here it comes. There were actually a couple bars open, but I'm glad I didn't go because they wound up moving the train to a siding. Fargo. Lots of people got on and off the train, but right around me were a lot of people there for the long haul all the way to Chicago. Into Minnesota. Woodsy. It's kind of amazing how the feel and the greenery change as we approach the Mississippi River. And there's one of those Minnesota lakes on the other side of the river.
Station stop will be that of St. Cloud. If St. Cloud is your final destination, now will be a good time to check around your seat, gather all of your belongings, and be ready to deboard the train. Do not panic. You will be able to get off. They are going to switch.
Mississippi. Every few hours the train stops, everyone gets off and stretches their legs or has a cigarette or does a little pacing or calisthenics or something. It's pretty funny, and it's kind of necessary too. Because our layover in Chicago was shortened, I wound up eating another bagel. I was hoping for deep dish pizza, but instead I'm getting Milwaukee had both some rundown stuff and a lot of stuff getting fixed up. Really pretty city in a lot of ways. And then we approach Chicago, which is really a big city. This is one of the suburbs where Frank Lloyd Wright did a lot of work.
But I don't think, I don't foresee a big job.
Well, we made it to Chicago. I got an hour to make my connection, and it's funny to be back in a big city. Pretty spectacular, but no deep dish pizza to be seen. The only thing in the food court that's open. I didn't go. New train, shorty. No double deckers on the East Coast. There we go.
With procedures we take here at the Lakeshore Limited just in case of emergency.
The bathrooms on this train are much fewer but much bigger. Hard to really demonstrate that, but trust me, it's bigger. Lake Erie back there. Pennsylvania wine country. It's quite beautiful. Lakeside. Very nice. love upstate New York. It's got so much cool bombed out shit. And not that bombed out. But this is really cool. It's been a long goal of mine to bike the Erie Canal, and this only makes me want to do it more. There were lots of towns that had been built along the train tracks and were still kind of hanging in there. First they told us we were getting off in Schenectady and going to get bus to Albany, and then they said, no, actually we're going to go straight through to Albany, but I still have to get off and take a bus from Albany to Boston because there's track work happening. Considering we were on a train which really only has one option of where it's going, it's kind of amazing how little information we got sometimes. I think this might be the Hudson. Other times they did pretty good at informing us. And now we're on a bus. The bus, for instance, didn't tell us it was going to be direct and didn't tell us when we would be arriving in Boston.
I'm developing proof right now.
It's time to get off the bus.
We'll see how.
And some food at a restaurant. My last connection was to a ferry, and I'm showing it just for the beauty shot. Comment with your Amtrak experience, and let's bring back the dining car. Remember to like and subscribe.